Hey there guys, I'm just making a video on how to find the points that are actually on a graph. So there's this question that says, alright, for an equation given, identify if the points identified below are included in this function. Now what this means is that the points I've given are 0, 0, 1, 1, and negative 1, 0. And the equation written above, which is circled like a cloud, is y equals x to the fourth minus the square root of x. Now, you might think, alright, how could I find this? Now, the way to actually do this is to plug them in each individually. Now, for each set of coordinate points, it comes with their own x and own y. Now, if you guys remember just about functions, when you plug in an x, you get y delivered outwards. So, the easiest way to think about this is that if we plug in their individual x, then we should get their own y out. Now, if it doesn't work, then their y's won't match. If it does work, their y's will match. So, written below are the three equations for the 3 times I plugged in the 3 separate x's. And you can see that for the first one, for x1, y1, which is identified right here, 0, 0, I used and replaced the x's with the x coordinate, which is 0. So y equals 0 to the fourth minus the square root of 0. 0 to the fourth is just 0 times 0 times 0 times 0, which is 0. And the square root of 0 is just 0 times 0 equals 0, so you can just take out 0 there. So therefore, 0 minus 0 equals 0. Now, I said yes here because if you look back, the y1 for the coordinate 0, 0 is 0. So I'll identify that right there. y1 equals 0. So since the y1 equals 0, then that matches. So this is a coordinate on this function. So that works. So for the next one, we're going to do the exact same process. We're going to plug in the x value, go through the entire thing, and see if the y value pops out. Now, the x value here is 1. So we have 1 to the fourth minus the square root of 1. 1 to the fourth, 1 to any power, say 1 to infinity, is just 1. It's timesing by itself. So 1 to the fourth, just 1, minus the square root of 1, and the square root of 1 is always 1. So you have 1 minus 1, which is just 0. Now, if we look back on the point identified here, it said that it was 1, 1, and the y value is supposed to be 1. However, when we plugged into the equation, we got 0. So therefore, this function does not have this point 1, 1. It should have 1, 0. So we know the second one will not be on the equation. Now to test the third one. This one requires a little bit more experience, I guess, is the best way to put it. If you know imaginary numbers, it'll help out a lot. If not, I'll try to explain my best. So, alright, so if you have the equation, we're going to plug in the same way. We're going to plug in an x value, and we're going to see if the y value pops out. For our x value, we have a negative 1. So we're just going to replace the x's with negative 1's down here. We have y equals negative 1 to the fourth power minus the square root of negative 1. Now, right off the bat, you'll see that we have a square root of negative 1. Now, we usually can't take a square root of a negative number because you have to have two of the same exact numbers, both sign and value. So, say, for the square root of 4, it's positive 2 and positive 2. But for negative 1, we can't have that because no two numbers that are the same will ever equal a negative number. So this is where it becomes an imaginary case. So all you're going to do is replace the negative with an I squared. So that's located right there. Now this makes the value on the inside positive. It makes it easier for us to actually take the square root. It'll have an actual meaning later if you continue with math until the end of the semester. So anyways. So negative 1 to the fourth power is just negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. And that all comes down to 1 times 1, which is just 1. Now, the square root of 1i squared is just, you can take out 1, and then you can take out an I. I times I is just I squared. So overall, you're going to get 1 minus I, and 1 minus I, it should be what your y value is. Now we're going to look back to what the y value was given. The y value given was 0. So this doesn't actually match. Therefore, we're going to say that this is not on the equation. So therefore, the only one that works is the very first one, 0, 0. Cool. Alright, if you guys have any questions on it, feel free to let me know. I know there's a few points I started here and probably didn't make sense, but feel free to let me know. I'll try my best to explain whatever possible. Anyways, have a nice day.